There are many good moments of anime 2024 that just really hurt my feelings, tugging with my emotions. Some with good action scenes, funny moments, as well as just very cinematic. This is not in any particular order, and just gonna go through a list of it. So, Oshi No Ko season 2, one that I only watched the anime for, and I know that the manga has ended. Main part that seemed like highlight for me was the fact that Aqua being able to present himself in that state of mind, like how different actors have their way of shining out. For Aqua, just being able to present something despair, something he wished for so much, and be able to put himself in that state of emotion, and then really pour it out like real life. Uh, it shows for me that a lot of times is how powerful the mind is, being able to present whatever you're feeling if you really put your imagination to it. I don't know. It's just a reminder for myself. At least when I read this book, 48 Laws of Power, where it's conceal your intentions. So it's like, for example, for me, just to be like, oh, how's it going? The big 0 to 100, just you come in open arms, body language, just very welcoming. Just I don't know where knock someone out. I mean, there's so much that I can point out. I mean, there's some funny moments too, like Akane with her in the relationship with Aqua not feeling real. And there's definitely the interactions that I also love, and also a lot of focus a little bit more on Ruby. So, and can't get the meme out of my head with what's going on with that dance. And it goes without saying that you get more intro with the background with the industry. Animation's phenomenal. They really went hard on that, and especially with the transitions. Yeah, just wanted to share that part at least. All right, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is one that I don't feel that I've seen much on the internet, but it really caught me off guard with just how much it affected me a lot, with how much I enjoyed it. One scene that really meant so much for me was when it came to that VTuber Kukui, probably saying her name wrong. She was one that had that alter ego of herself who wanted to become more than just that introvert, and the fact that she was lying to her friend about being this all cool popular person. And then when she ends up telling the truth later on, I mean, it was really cool that she admitted to her friends or her close friends. But when she went to the arcade with her friend and seeing how everyone was making fun of her because of that childish hero like personality, and seeing those classmates bullying her and talking crap in front of her and everything, and what made it really powerful was seeing her confront that, speaking up and really pouring down about all those emotions, to say what she really was feeling, and to really hear that the voice actor to really pour out the emotions for it. It made me so sad but so proud, and it made me want to get so violent to the bullies, because it's like I want to beat your ass. But yeah, but of course violence is not the way. Kukui is standing up for herself in despite feeling that uncomfort and the helplessness that no one ever wants to feel. But for her to confront that, it means a lot. Mashle season 2 this year, very early on. Man, that one particular fight in the beginning with the red hair dude who has the capabilities of always constantly healing himself, who just and feels no pain. The fact that you see Finn, who's on the ground and being helpless in comparison to his brother, who's, when you have a sibling who's outshines you so far, and then you not being that talented, it really makes you feel. I can only imagine that you would feel super helpless, where magic is everything and your skill level. But that, and just like where you're placed in society. When it gets to the moment where Mashu getting serious, man, that thing just gets me so much goosebumps with when it just comes to his fist clenching, and then when it gets to that moment where the bomb rush of consecutive punches. Oh man, I can't help but love that scene so much. Mash being probably the strongest physically, something like the martial artist in me just wants to like really it just feels super excited for him to really confront, like Mash to save the day, to confront the dude who's like, even despite not having the ability to like counter it per se with magic, Mash would just brute force straight through it. A lot of times Mash is gonna get through it, but it's like how is he gonna execute it? The way he executes it just makes it super hilarious, and just seeing how confronting the red hair dude, it just makes me feel so much emotions for that, just to really cheer on for a match and just not letting the bad guy win. Something just that's just it's just exciting. It really is something that, you know, kind of not take seriously in terms of the logic in that world, but just enjoyable.
Nice guy.
And you know what? I'm just gonna always be down to watch Smash when it comes with some sort of motivation for fitness. So one of the things about Mushoku Tensei, where besides the ending and how it was pretty effed up when they released that anime or that episode specifically for what happened, one of the scenes that was pretty impactful for me was seeing that moment with Banana Hoshi with the raw emotions that happened, because especially when Rudy was seeing her as someone who was mature and just keeping and maintaining her emotions despite all the failures of her experiments and all these things that she's done. Seeing how she like just straight up lashes out and just breaking down and seeing that torment, all that torment that she was having, and then towards the end, just seeing how she just lost, kind of just pretty much lost the will to even try anymore. Like they explain, they shared it so well with how vivid, how raw, just seeing how it just all rationality out the window. And I could not, that part was so powerful. I really like they showed that, you know, after much attempts, you know, after how many years she tried so much and then just flops, even when she felt like she was so close and just fails. And you have Rudy to support, who's pretty much a genius in that world. And it's pretty amazing to see how we can see Rudy is experiencing the same thing before, with having lost all hope and then being reminded later on, as well as with Banana Hoshi, who has also lost some hope, but you can see that she had an epiphany when Rudius was able to help her out with some of the people that she knew who had some of the, I guess, the information that she was maybe missing, or some sort of thing where it would leave her to be more hopeful. And not to mention, there's again so many scenes, but I'm thinking about how there was that connection with Rudy and his sisters, with the connection and not having a good relation before, especially with her witnessing Rudy and her and their father's interaction. And it's pretty humbling and admirable to see Rudy being vulnerable to say that he doesn't know how to support his younger sister and wanting to and caring, and seeing how he's actually at distraught to not knowing how to, seeing the younger sister just really realizing that he really does care and just just really wanted that connection this whole time, but just didn't know how to. And also seeing how Rudy says that he doesn't really know her as well. It's pretty brave for Rudy to say that. And Norn having that complication with having that comparison with her brother, who's like a prodigy at the school, and as well as having not to be with her father and not seeing her mother as well. And it's just very rough to be in that position. I really love that Mushoku Tensei can really bring out the emotions out of me when I don't sometimes realize I have that. Ah, man, and it really hurts my feelings when it does show these moments. Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian to harem anime, one that for some reason I really love, and I'm excited for next year for many of that to come. One that I wouldn't think that I like out of all the highlights, or at least a lot of things in here, I think what really I really enjoyed the most was the fact with uh because I think it's because they had a lot of things in this moment, was the comedy side of things. Or what's really funny is with main character, main boy, totally forgot his name, meeting with Yuki and like coming back home and seeing her in the room and, you know, helping her dry her hair and such, and then seeing that he actually made the decision to really to join the student council again, and it was not based on what Yuki, it was not motivated by Yuki, who's always trying to get him to come, but rather a different girl who was his classmate, who she was happy for that he gets to join it, but the fact that it wasn't her to really help him to get in. And I think the bonding part where besides the funny part where she's like, no, you're not gonna be my partner to help me do the speech and run to be a president, just also the funny moments with the touching the chest. Feels shame talk about that shame, but mainly also the fact that she just really feels like she really wished that she was the one to really get him to do it and really to support him. But overall, she's happy that he's able to push himself because he really has that talent. I mean, that's he's you can see that some of the moments in the anime too where he was able to recognize or not recognize, remember the whole list of what everyone wants to order when it came to leaving the store. Damn it, I'm thinking about another highlight too that I really like with Masha too, but man, it's so hard. I'm so sorry. It's so hard for me to choose. I made a video on this too. I'm sorry. It's so hard. I love those two moments so much. And I generally just love so much about Roshidere, just so many moments in there and I feel like I just can talk about it all day. And with second season just coming out too as well, oh man, I'm just in for a treat with that. ReZero is one of the series that I watch every week when it was ongoing until they put a pause. And one of the most one thing that maybe it's just a recent bias for me, but when it came to Subaru's speech, like it really builds up to seeing his confidence in himself, and especially when you think about how anyone that's watched it since the beginning of the season, like from first season to up to date, and just seeing where he come from and where how he was like such a like unlikable character to where he is now, where he's developed and character development and just becoming just a better person, and to see that like it's him doubting himself and really being vulnerable, and you see that they had us in the first half, but with how he's you see everyone that's listening having doubts and having despair, hearing Subaru's speech, knowing that he knows that he's weak and knowing that he's not the strongest compared to everyone that's in our world. It really shows that it means so much because he relates so much to the citizens of the area that he's at, that he created so much, that he created all that hope for him, and despite that just keep on fighting and care for those that are next to whoever that's listening. Like especially when he shows the moments with the kids, I was like, oh man, that it's so sad. I have a soft spot for when it comes to children and like when they're sad. Like you want to give them hope and give them dreams to become more than themselves, and having the adults represent as well. And I think what makes it very impactful is the previous episodes where you have that one person who was just very gruesome with how she handles things, and it's like, man, anyone experiencing that just is just messed up. There's many scenes of that anime that I really like. Bison Wolf, the remake for the past series, where when it comes to economics, I'm just like too dumb for this, man. I can't. I'm trying to learn, but I just don't get it. I feel like if someone gave it to me in like baby terms, I'll like baby talk about it, or step by step, I'll probably understand it. But what really stood out to me, for besides the business aspect of it, but what's really touching is the companionship with those two, the synergy with Lawrence and Hollow. I remember that moment where just a simple thing with Lawrence having his dream of owning a store because he's like just a merchant who's going around selling things, and using that same drawing, seeing that Hollow was really sad to know that when that journey ends, that she's gonna be alone again, and using that same drawing with his dream, showing that symbol, like it symbolizes when he was using it to wipe her tears, like using like holding that dream aside, or maybe even giving it up just to be with her and to be happy. And I mean, to those that watched the old series, I didn't. It really gives a refreshing like art style, and seeing that like even despite being that wise and such, is you still want to have that partnership or having someone with you, because loneliness sucks. And Lourdes shows that he really does care about her, when just showing that comfort, and really gives you the warmth and fuzzies. The anime. And despite the wholesome moments, it really caught me off guard when it involved some violence and some of the dark themes that are in the story. It's not always just rainbows and sunshines when it comes to being a merchant, and Lawrence being involved with some sketchy things, just having the threat of not just people but wolves when going traveling, and it's a whole mess.
The secret ingredient is crime.
Oh man, him having a moment of feeling useless and getting beat down and just getting turned down, it really sucks. And like seeing Hollow actually being angry at him and also being supportive at the same time, and being happy when, even despite being pushed to the ground literally, he's still cares about her and just wants her to be happy, and vice versa, and she wants him to be happy. Overall, I know I'm gonna rewatch this someday, and I'm probably gonna understand it a lot better when I rewatch it. And I just love the companionship with Hollow and Lawrence. Alright, KonoSuba Season 3, super hilarious, and some touching moments as well. One highlight that I can really just think about on top of my head is where Kazuma and the Darkson sisters, when they had that body switch. That was just so funny with how it you can really see how well the voice actors played so well with each of their roles with the characters. Kazuma being being so close to being in the best moment of his life, really having it bad timing with going back to back to his body at the worst time. That just made me laugh so hard in that moment, and I was like, oh no. Oh, that just sucks to be him, but that's a funny moment. And then, of course, the touching moments, like where it's towards the end of Konosuba, where it really hurt my feelings there. But no spoilers, so I'll just keep it as that. Konosuba does a really good job with just making things really funny, but also very sad with just tugging my heartstrings. But at the same time, it's always a series that I can count on if I just want to have a good laugh or something I'll always remember for a good anime. And definitely one anime that I'll rewatch someday. Girls Band Cry. One that just kind of hurt me a little too personal when it came to the interaction with her father, Nina and her father. Seeing how when she was facing her past with her father and just seeing how he wasn't there to support her with like the bullying and also just the fact that she wasn't really wanting to tolerate that kind of actions when people were acting that way. Oh man, and then seeing that she really found it within herself to really like push that out and just really just having that music inspire her to who she always wanted to be with just being like not fitting in with everyone else but rather just embracing who you are and embracing the type of music that her favorite band was playing. And seeing how with just seeing how her father was just being very traditional, the Asian kind of parent, then later on seeing it's just seeing how one of her band members, Rupa, who was telling Nina about how we have less time than we really think, and knowing Rupa about her backstory, it's so tragic. Just knowing about it and then just seeing how she's been pushing through, even being like the mature one in the band members. But yeah, seeing that interaction with Nina and seeing how making, I guess, resolving what issues was going on and seeing that her dad was supporting her with her type of music and just saying that it's pretty good. And we know her father means well. It's just when it comes to Asian parents, for example, they have a hard time expressing their emotions when conveying their care for their child. And then seeing that hug at the end, I was like, no, these tears, fuck. Like when I was watching at the time, I was like, oh, hit me too good. And then you see the interaction with her father too, just really tearing up too, just in the back. Yeah, that part was that hit me. That was just hit too close to home when it comes to people that you care about and when they actually finally support you, or those that you care about that are now around, and when you have that kind of regret, you just have to live with it, and sometimes you just have to forgive yourself sometimes for that. Regret happens at times. I mean, besides that, there's a lot on the list that I didn't just get to watch last year. There are some solid ones. For example, I'm looking at my list, like Blue Archive, and I mean, that's more personal. I just love Blue Archive. There's the Magi sisters that I just love because it's so wholesome and just, which I'm gonna elaborate later. There's of course Dan Dan that's pretty popular, and Blue Lock where it's just kind of solid. And then there's the OK list where it was just like SAO. And when I'm talking about SAO, I'm talking about like the Gun Gale Online season 2, Ari Ferretta season 3, the Misfit of the Demon King Academy, which is kind of rough because they had a pause and it kind of made things really hard to remember. And honestly, I could just rewatch it, and then there's Demon Slayer. Okay, and then there's some that it's alright. I just don't like that much, which is the opening is great for My Dear Friend no Kotan, which is very catchy with the opening. And then there's reincarnated as the meetings, Slime Musikai, which so many meetings, which unfortunate, but it's okay. I still watched it. And then my shameful list, which Chain Soldier, it's not great, but I love it just because etchy. My young self loving that kind of thing. And yeah, a lot of things on my list that I'm probably gonna show up and probably gonna watch later to catch up. But overall, just gotta say, unfortunate that I upload this a little later than planned. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any relatable moments that you felt feels, or maybe like the action, maybe just some anime that I just didn't point out, which probably I haven't, that were pretty banger, put it in the comments as well, because then I'll probably add it to my list. Anyway, have a great 2025 and take care. See you next time.